What's up YouTube, welcome back to the channel. It's the branded dude, guys. We have a matchup against Fire Kings today. I think this is going to be the first time I'm uploading a video about Fire Kings, but we're going up against Fire Kings, you know, the deck that recently won the YCS Birmingham. Yeah, so a lot of players have been picking up this deck, and I've been going up against quite a number of Fire Kings. Fire Kings, yeah, you guys know the deck. They can play a lot of hand traps, and the Fire King monsters, they all trigger their effects when a fire monster is destroyed, so you got to be careful what exactly you decide to destroy. And all of a sudden they start summoning Kirin. Well, there's the Fire King Kirin, which basically pops a card on your field, which non-target, so it is a bit annoying to deal with. And obviously, yeah, you know, they have the Princess Zelantis of Decay line as well, which can honestly, it's just so difficult to have to deal with it. But yeah, guys, we are playing 60 card with my new deck list that I'm testing out, so let's see how it goes. So in the rock paper scissors, my opponent won and he chose to go first. So you'll see in our opening hands that we open Thrust, Boldrake, opening Aluba and Albaz. Yeah, we have Thrust, we have Aluba to search for Brand of Fusion. Yeah, so yeah, it's not a crazy hand, but you know, it is something. Opponent opens the OG Garunix, 2 Imperms, 4 Loss, and Alkanix. So yeah, lucky for him, we have no hand traps. So almost on Alkanix effect, destroy Garunix at Ponix, and then Ponix will trigger to summon itself. Then Ponix is gonna get him the Fire King Sanctuary, gets him the Field Spell, and he's gonna use Field Spell, pop Ponix, get Garunix. Then Garunix is gonna trigger to summon itself, and then trigger to pop a card on the field, which will be Avata. Avata will summon OG Garunix. And then he's going to link all his monsters to go into Princess, Reborn, Avata. And then he goes into a link for Salamangreat, Raging Phoenix. So here's the thing. I don't know. I felt like he could have done this differently. I don't know why he didn't when he had Garunix, OG Garunix and Avata. Was it Avata? No, it was Alkanix on the field. I don't know why he didn't go into IP Masquerina. I'm not sure. He wasn't locked into anything, right? Yeah, I don't think he was locked into anything, so I'm not sure why he didn't go into IP and then go into Princess Reborn, then go into Amblerwile. I'm not sure why he didn't do that, because I'm pretty sure he wasn't locked into anything. The only thing locking him at some point was just Princess. I'm not sure why he didn't go into that line, to be honest. I'm pretty sure that would have been a better line. But yeah, anyways, he goes into Salamangreat, Raging Phoenix, sets 2 Imperms and pass. So we have to deal with 2 Imperms and potentially a Avata as well. So we draw for turn, we draw opening. Cool, we do nothing in standby phase because I know for a fact, listen, I knew these 2 cards, they have to be Imperms. So that's what I was assuming. Sure, maybe one of them could have been Skyburn, you know, but I went with the thought that, okay, we're dealing with 2 Imperms. So in standby phase, my opponent has Ponix, which will trigger to add itself to hand. Yeah, add itself to hand because it was popped. How did it get popped? I think it was it the Field Spell? Yeah, I think it was the Field Spell. Might be wrong. But anyways, we go to main phase. So here, I decide that we're gonna have to try and make Thrust live. So first, I start with normal summoning Albaz, because remember, we have 2 openings in hand, so we can summon Aluba off opening. So we normal summon Albaz effect, discarding 1 opening. That's way we have branded opening in the graveyard to protect our fusion. So here we go Chainlink 1 Albaz, opponent goes Chainlink 2 Imperm. Cool, so we get rid of 1 Imperm. We then follow up with opening, discarding Boldrake, because Boldrake is dead in our hand. Plus also we don't want to and we just discard Boldrake, nothing to say there. On res, Chainlink 1 Aluba. Opponent here will go Chainlink 2 Princess, targeting Raging and Albaz, and he is going to go Chainlink 3 Imperm on Aluba. So both Imperms are gone, Albaz destroyed, Princess reborns, and then Garunix is going to trigger, summon itself. On summon, Garunix effect will pop Kirin in the deck, then Kirin Chainlink 1 and Ponix Chainlink 2, summon Avata and pop Aluba. Cool, so now Avata is on the field, so he has a monster negate. Ponix on summon will search for a copy of Skyburn in his hand, so that is something we're going to need to deal with. But at least for now, we have 2 branded openings set up in the grave. We then go Thrust, searching for Branded Fusion. So now we know our opponent does not have Ash Blossom, so Branded Fusion. Here we need to remember we're dealing with Avata, so I sent Albaz and I decide to send Tragedy. I was thinking of sending Serenia, but I decided no. If we can put Albion the branded in a graveyard, then we can use Branded in red and then may as well just have Adlib in our hand, or access to Adlib in some way. So chain link 1 Lubellion, chain link 2 Tragedy. Opponent does not negate this, luckily. So yeah, we just did that just to chain block Lubellion mainly, but yeah, anyways, we get the +1 on, well, not +1, we get the advantage of having Adlib, and then we shuffle and refuse into Merge Aid. We enter battle phase. We don't use Merge Aid's effect yet, because remember, Vata can still negate, and once he pops a fire, he's going to trigger a whole bunch of whatever nonsense. I don't know what more he has. So we enter battle phase. I attack a Vata, which does trigger Vata's effect to reborn a something from the graveyard. Cool. OG Garunix. Now remember, OG Garunix is going to get destroyed in end phase because of Vata's effect, and when it's going to get destroyed in my opponent's standby phase, it's going to basically trigger to reborn itself, and then on its summon, it's going to destroy all other monsters on the field. So we are going to lose Merge Aid basically, right? But it's fine. I needed to get a Vata off the field so that there's no negate. Cool. We then go Merge Aid, sending Albion the Branded, and I banish his Princess. I don't know. Most probably he's playing, I assumed he might be playing 2 copies of Princess. I'm not sure. I don't think Fire King players play 2 princesses, but I was assuming he might have. But if on the chance he's playing 1, let's just get rid of this, because yeah, we don't want Princess being on the grave or being accessible. So we go to main phase 2, nothing much to do here, so we're going to go to end phase. End phase, we're going to go Albion the Branded, and we're going to set Branded in red. Now remember guys, I'm not playing Chimera in this build, okay? But we set Branded red because we don't need to do anything here. We're gonna hold on to it, okay? So we set that, nothing else, so we pass for turn. OG Garunix gets destroyed by Vata's effect. Opponent draws for turn, he draws into Kirin. Standby phase, OG Garunix is going to trigger, reborn, and now he's going to trigger to pop all other cards on the field. We decide to let Merge Aid be destroyed because now we can trigger Merge Aid's effect, Chainlink 1 Merge Aid, and then also we're going to go Chainlink to Aluba, reborn itself just to have a body on the field. So yeah, that's why I didn't want Merge Aid I didn't want to protect Merge Aid, because one, we know my opponent has Skyburn. He's most probably going to use Kirin's effect as well, so don't waste that opening. And plus now my opponent is going to lose cards in his end phase. So if we make it to end phase, he's going to lose his field. Main phase, opponent starts with the field spell, pop Kirin at Ponix, Chainlink 1 Kirin, Chainlink 2 Ponix. We go Chainlink 3 Branding Red, because remember Kirin's going to be able to pop a card on the field. So yeah, we're going to use Branding Red now. We target Tragedy, and then we're going to fusion into the only thing we can really fusion into is into Quiritus. Can we? I could have went for Garunix. Not Garunix. Garura. I could have went for Garura, but I decided let's put Quiritus on the field. If it ends up being popped, we can get an advantage of that, and also reduce opponent's monsters attack to 0. If it ever comes up. So yeah, so banish Adlib and Tragedy to summon Quiritus. Ponix summon itself. Kirin summons a Vata, and my opponent ends up popping the Luba. On res, opponent goes Chainlink 1 Ponix, and we go Chainlink 2 Adlib, Chainlink 3 Tragedy, chain blocking Adlib, so Merge Aid can be reborn. So we add the 3rd copy of Aluba, and we summon Merge Aid. Now opponent adds another copy of Skyburn of Ponix. Now here, I don't know, my opponent went for Typhon. I wasn't expecting Typhon, to be honest, so unfortunately I didn't get a chance to use Merge Aid's effect, but I wasn't expecting to see Typhon. I thought maybe my opponent would have more. I guess it's because he doesn't have any other Fire King monsters in his hand, so he's going for this Typhon instead. But I don't know, if you guys are a Fire King player, maybe is there something better he could have done? I'm not sure, but yeah, he goes for Typhon. Cool. Merge Aid cannot activate its effect, and in our end phase, in our graveyard, we don't have Rinbrim set up, so Albaz can't really be reborn. So yeah, anyways, opponent then goes Typhon, bounces back the Merge Aid, then he enters battle phase. Now here's the thing, I could have obviously in end of main I could have used Quiritus effect, but Vata here says you can negate and destroy one other fire monster on your field or face up in your hand or face up field. So obviously it's going to get negated by a Vata, so I decided not to use it, because then we're just trying to avoid a Vata from triggering any effect. So that's why I didn't use it. Cool, get destroyed, take some damage, taking about 2,300 damage here. And then my opponent sets both his Skyburns and passes turn. So yeah, we definitely know those 2 cards are 2 copies of Skyburn. Now end phase Merge Aid resolves, popping his cards, boom. So cool, clear field, and we draw into Serenia. Standby phase, opponent gets the Ponix, Now we enter main phase, and I know for a fact those two cards, none of them on imperm, so we normal summon a Luba effect. And here we search for high spirits, because remember guys, Brand Fusion is in the grave. We have Serenia. Listen, we're getting Brand Fusion back to our hand. So we go high spirits. We're going to send Serenia, send Titan Eclat, add. I decided to add Cartesia because I didn't think of adding Albion Destrated. I know I wasn't going to make use, like try to see what I draw into. So I decided, you know, definitely we're going to get Cartesia because we have an Albaz engraved. So if we need Cartesia to be summoned, we can do it. So on res Serenia effect, sending Retribution. Now Retribution is going to add the Brand of Fusion, which we're going to activate here. So here I was a bit worried my opponent had Ash Blossom, but he didn't. So boom, we resolve Brand of Fusion. Going to Albion, sending Albaz and Lubellion. Chainlink 1 Albion, the branded. So we banish Albaz and Serenia. I don't go for Mergate because listen, he has, you know, he has no monsters on the field, but we also want to get rid of my opponent's Skyburn, so I decided to prioritize that. So we're going to Chaos, Chainlink 1 Chaos, targeting both his set cards, which are both his Skyburns to pop, and to this my opponent's scoops. Skyburn can't activate because he needs to control, he has to control a Fire King monster or Fire monster, whatever, and you know, he had nothing to trigger anything to reborn, you know, Garunix or Kirin to trigger or Vata to trigger, nothing. So it was just an empty field, and I think we had enough damage there on field as well. So yeah, we win game number 1. We go to game number 2. Game number 2, we open Albaz, Quem, Red, Thrust, and Mag. Opponent opens Impulse, Extrav, Kirin, Garunix, and OG Garunix. Main phase, he activates Extrav, banishing 6, so he's going to draw 2. He draws into Ponix and Lancia, so now he's Impulse and Lancia, and now he's starting his Fire King combos. He has the Field Spell at Pop OG, Garunix, add Vata, Garunix, Chainlink 1, on summon pop Kirin effect, summon OG Garunix, link into Princess. I'm not sure. Okay, here's the thing. He did use oh wait, can we see what he banished? Yeah, we can. Okay, cool. So he banished Sunlight Wolf, Yang, the Xyz, Typhon, another copy of the Xyz, Promethean Princess, and oh wow, he banished all 3 copies of his Xyz. So that is a bit rough. That extra was actually rough. So that's why he didn't summon. Oh yeah, so yeah, okay, he's playing 2 copies of Princess, cool. So yeah, anyways, again guys, I don't know why we don't go into IP, then go into Princess Reborn, then go into Ambler Well. I'm not sure why we're not doing that, but anyways, moving on. So here my opponent sets Impulse and passes. Here I thought that set card was an imperm, so we draw it for turn. We draw evenly. Good draw. Okay, so we have a board breaker. So here I decided, okay, we're gonna go evenly. We're not wasting. I'm not gonna try normal summon and, you know, waste that evenly in my hand. I decided, you know, let's take a chance. So we go evenly. Chaining 1. To this my opponent chains Lancia. That is crazy. But to Lancia we chain our Bestial Magnemite because this is the only time we're gonna be able to use it. And I decided, you know, may as well make use of it. So Mag, banish Lancia, on res, Chainlink 1 Lancia. So we're gonna get the end phase effect. But main phase 2, we activate Thrust because my opponent did activate a monster effect, sorry. Add Brand of Fusion. So here, I normal summon Quem, right? Before I normal summon Quem, I was contemplating if that card was an imperm, right? I think what would have been better for me is like, let me force it. I mean, okay, not even that. I was deciding if my opponent had Ash Blossom or a way to stop Brand of Fusion, maybe I should have just normal summoned Albaz, discard Quem, and if that resolves, we can summon Mergate, right? And then, you know, whatever happens after that. The whole point is that if Brand of Fusion ends up being negated, maybe we can just focus on normal summoning Albaz, and then we can discard Quem. That way Branded in red does have a target. Obviously we can't banish anything, so, you know, we can save Branded in red hopefully for, you know, the next turn that follows. So I was thinking of normal summoning Albaz first, but then I decided, you know what, let's normal summon Quem. If it's an imperm, we can eat it. But here my opponent does not chain anything, so we send Cartesia. The reason why we send Cartesia is because if Brand of Fusion resolves, we can reborn Cartesia off Quem. That's the reason why I did that. So yeah, after this I decided, oh okay, so that's set card. We activate Brand of Fusion and it's Dominus Impulse. It's Dominus Impulse. Unfortunately, Brand of Fusion does get negated here. The effect gets negated. We set the card and listen here guys. End of main, Kirin, pop Avata, and then, you know, lots of things are happening here. The whole point is Brand Red gets popped. End phase we search Serenia. But yeah, listen, we have nothing here. Opponent goes field spell, pop Kirin, add Garunix effect, Kirin 2, and he just has lots of damage on the field. This guy's at 3,900, 2,7. Listen, that's a lot of damage. Okay, whatever's happening here, he just popped Quem in the battle phase, destroy mag, and then we tried to go Serenia effect here just to protect ourselves. Cool, doesn't negate this. It keeps going. On attack declaration here though, just ignore that Serenia going to grave thing. On attack declaration though, my opponent does go chain link to Jerusalem just so that he has enough damage on field, and we just scoop. Yeah, so we had nothing there. I'm not sure if maybe I could have played that differently, but yeah, that impulse, that was surprising. I completely forgot that Fire King can play impulse. Game number 3, guys, the ultimate decider. We open deployment, Aluba, draw, good card against Fire King. We open Quim and Thrust. We've seen Thrust 3 times. That's crazy. Opponent opens Mag, Impulse, OG Garunix, Ogre, and Perilia. So in draw phase, my opponent drops the Perilia. Oh, standby phase, he drops the Perilia. So here I decide, okay, cool. He has Perilia, he's going to try draw 1. We're not going to allow that to happen. And luckily for us, he activated a monster effect, so Thrust is live as well. So we go Fusion Deployment. So my opponent doesn't chain, what's his name, Fualo, so we know that's not in his hand. So we summon Cartesia. Now, the reason why I go Cartesia effect instead of like normal summoning Aluba is because if I summon Cartesia and go its effect, I'm assuming, obviously I didn't expect my opponent to have Ogre in his hand, but the reason why I go Cartesia is that usually most players will think if we as branded players summon Cartesia and no other monster yet, and we go Cartesia effect, they will assume that we have a bad hand. They will assume, because obviously why wouldn't you summon Aluba to get the effect? So if you go Cartesia, it's like, I basically was using Cartesia to try force out Imperm or Veiler, you know, one of those 2 cards, but I did not expect Ogre, so we are getting kind of punished here. So unfortunately I still need to fusion summon, so we have to summon Quiritus, sending Aluba and Quem. So yeah, we lost that normal summon to search brand of fusion, but hey, at least your opponent's not drawing a card, I guess. 2 cards off, he's 2 cards down from his hand, so we go Thrust and we set Different Dimension Ground. Good card against Fire King. And even though we do have Joel in hand, you know, we're just gonna first use that trap. But in the end phase, my opponent goes Mag, banishing Cartesia. Mag effect here is gonna add Jerusalem to his hand, and still in the end phase, he is gonna use Jerusalem to banish the Luba. Cool. So he has 2 bestials on his field. He draws return. He draws into Fualos a bit late to the party. Main phase, he doesn't attempt to do anything here. Yeah, and he passes, yeah, because he also has no plays. He really doesn't have any plays, so he passes turn, we draw into opening. Here I decided not to use opening because, you know, draw is still a good card against Fire King, and we still have this trap card, so I decided, you know what, we can risk it, so I pass turn. I don't bother to attack these monsters because, yeah, we don't want to trigger them, and they can't get over Quiritus defense as well. Opponent draws return, he draws into another copy of Warloss, unfortunately. So yeah, he passes again. We finally draw another copy of opening. So here I decide, okay, main phase, we're going to go opening, but we get impulsed. Crazy. And we pass turn again. Opponent draws into Fire King Kiran, but still no plays, unfortunately. Opponent normal summons Forlos, links into Amaraj. Here I knew he was going for SP, but I decided, you know, I'm not going to do anything. Let him go into SP. Cool. Links off. He doesn't send Jerusalem for some reason. I don't know why. But I guess he doesn't want to send Quiritus, triggers effect, then make me summon Aluba, because that way is no way of negating Aluba to search Planet Fusion. So he goes into SP target the trap, to which we just activated because anyways it's getting banished. Cool. Opponent passes turn again. Unfortunately, yeah, he has no play, so we draw for turn, we draw talents, which is really good for us. So now here, main phase, I decide to go Quiritus, hoping to bait out SP, but no response here. So we're going to have to go opening to force something out. So we go opening, send draw, which was kind of scary. I decide to add a Luba to hand for some reason. I don't know why I added a Luba to hand. But yeah, you're going to realize that me adding a Luba to hand was down. Oh, I know why. The reason why I didn't add a Luba is because I can normal summon it, and then I just have more damage on the field to try go for game. That's why I added it to hand and not special summon it. Cool. Aluba, normal summon effect, no Veiler Imperm, oh, no Veiler. So we had Fusion, and then we go Brand of Fusion, no Ash, so we cooking, people. So we send Albaz, and I decide now to send Cartesia. Now the reason why I sent Albaz and Cartesia and not Bestial Rebellion is because I assumed my opponent maybe had another Bestial card in his hand. So if he ends up banishing Albaz, which is obviously going to be the best target to banish when we summon Albion and trigger Albion the Branded to fusion, if he banishes Albaz, we can use Cartesia and whatever other light and dark to go into Grand Guggenor. So that's why I send Cartesia. Cool, we summon Albion on Ray's new chain Albion effect. No response here from he goes SP targeting itself and Albion. That resolves, and so we banish. I decide to banish Cartesia and Quem to go into Grand Guggenor. I don't try to go for Mergiate because I decide, you know what, it's cool. We can still sort of summon Mergiate in end phase, when SP returns. So we just gotta hold off onto that. So yeah, we're going to Grand Guggenor, or depending on what lines we go for here. So we go Grand Guggenor, and I send Albion the Branded, because remember, this Albion the Branded is not a hit in the graveyard this turn, so I decide to send that. That way we can still trigger Albion's effect. I change Quiritus to attack, and now I decide, okay, do I go Talents to take, to try go for game? But then if I assumed, okay, if he has a Bestial in his hand or something, then I don't know, it's not going to do much. So I decide, you know what, we're going to use Talents to draw 2 cards, just to see what we can have. And also, we just need cards in our hand. So we draw into Quem, and we draw into Libellion. Now here's the thing, you see Quem, if I didn't special normal summon Luba, I could have normal summoned Quem. But yeah, anyways, we draw into Bestial Libellion, which is good. So we go Libellion, and we add Magnum Nut to hand. We're going to summon Mag by banishing my opponent's Magnum Nuts from his graveyard. And then obviously we're going to trigger Magnum Nuts effect on summon. So we're going to get the end phase search. Summon Libellion effect. Here I decide to place opening because I want to try get Mercuria to my hand so that we have a monster negate, right? So that's why I don't bother going for regain, I'll go for lost. We enter battle phase, but in the end of main, my opponent goes Kirin, popping the OG Garunix and summon itself. The reason why is just to put enough protection for himself, and also if Garunix is destroyed and sent to grave, he can special summon one Fire King monster from his hand or grave and destroy a card on the field. So that's why he did that. So yeah, that is something I had to be worried about actually. Ends the battle phase, the attack Jerusalem with Libellion. He takes 2/5, and then Jerusalem will trigger, and here is going to send Grand Guggenor. He targeted Luba, forgot he was normal summon, so Grand Guggenor, cool, that's fine. We don't attack Kirin, we don't want to trigger Kirin, so I decide main phase 2. Then we go to end phase. We go Albion effect, adding Branded in red to hand, to which we then activate Branded red, targeting Albaz, banish Albaz and Luba. Going to Libellion, Chainlink 1, Libellion, Chainlink 2 lost, so now we're going to get Mercuria to hand, so at least we have a monster negates. In case my opponent opens Alkanix or Ponix, we can deal with that. We then shuffle back Albaz, and I shuffle back not the banished Albion, I decide to shuffle back the Albion in grave. I don't shuffle back Libellion because I decide, I need enough copies for Mergiate to banish, and then also potentially if Albion ends up going to grave next turn in end phase, we can trigger the effect to add or set a brand spell trap. So that's why I decided to do that. SP now, because I have no other mandatory or optional effects, so SP resolves, and then we bring back SP and Albion, and now still in end phase I decide to go Mergiate effect, sending Titanly Clad, because now we banish High King of Water, and now here I'm gonna go Titan Mag effect first, and then we're gonna go attempt to go Titan, but my opponent draws return, sees he's gonna draw Veiler, and he just passes. He just scoops. So unfortunate for him, he didn't draw into any Fire King plays. He just had hand traps, and yeah, basically just had hand traps. So unfortunately that cost him the duel in game number 3, but luckily for us, we still managed to win. We still managed, even though Brand Fusion did get, did Brand Fusion get negated? No, sorry. That in game 1, the way we went about, we had to deal with Perelia, Ogre, and Impulse. That Ogre came out of nowhere, so that was a bit weird. But yeah, we could have normal summoned Albaz, and not Albaz, normal summoned Luba, search for Brand Fusion, and we would have been Gucci. Honestly, we would have been Gucci from there. But yeah, it was. Oh wait, did he draw into this? No, he had this in hand, so Brand Fusion was still going to get negated in some way. But yeah, guys, that's the gameplay. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do like, comment, and subscribe. If you notice any misplays or anything you want to say, do let me know in the comments below. But yeah, thanks for the support, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.